Hi, Jeremy here with another shot from the golfing curriculum. Today we're looking at chipping tactics. So if you're somebody who always reaches for the sand wedge or the lob wedge when they're close by the greens, you're going to find this really interesting. Let's dive into it. Now, one of the most useful short game ideas is to play the lowest possible shot that you can. You've got to pick the landing point that's just on the green. Sometimes you can't do that, but we'll cover that later on in the video. But land the ball just on the green and then have three shots. One that runs, one that stops, and one that goes about 50-50. And to do that, all you've got to do is change the club. 8-iron for the runner, pitching wedge for the 50-50, and sand wedge for the stopper. So the three flags on this green give me the perfect opportunity to show you exactly when to use each of these clubs in what situation. For the far flag, there's nothing in the way. We can't really putt it because the ground is too rough here. So we've got to chip it. And for this, the 8-iron is absolutely perfect. There is no need to hit a sand wedge. Your swing will have to be much longer. The bounce will be less predictable. The landing point is way, way, way further up the green. So you've got to hit a much better shot to get the same result. So if you like loading the probabilities in your favor, the low runner is definitely the best choice in this instance. This is a very straightforward example, of course. We'll do some more complicated ones towards the end of the video, but land it 2-3 yards on the green, and then it'll run all the way back to the hole. Well, it's only just missed, it's about a foot away. And actually I didn't hit a perfect shot, hit that slightly thin, and still it came out okay. No way would that be the same result with a more lofted club. That one's come out a little bit better, but exactly the same result. It's finished 2 or 3 feet past the hole. So it's a really easy shot to judge this. You don't have any problems judging the bounce. You know it's going to run. And then we have 3 really good shots. Now for the middle flag, sand wedge isn't right for that either. We've got to land it 2-3 yards on the green, same landing point, and make it run, but obviously the 8-iron will run too far in this instance. So I've got my pitching wedge, which is about my 50-50 club, same landing point, same everything, same technique, and then that one should run out really nicely too. It's gone 2 or 3 feet past the hole, but a good shot. You see, by playing the right shot, you make it just a lot easier for you. You've got a funny bounce on that one, but here we go again. Yeah, because I've chosen the right club, the ball will have the right amount of run. So this closest flag will have to be the sand wedge because we don't want the ball to run too far in this instance. And up it goes and stops nicely. So loft is not your friend. You make the shot a lot easier by using a straight-faced club like an 8-iron or a pitching wedge instead of loft. There are a number of reasons why this is easier. Firstly, it's a shorter swing. Secondly, your landing point is closer. And thirdly, the bounce is more predictable. I get asked a lot, how do you create spin on your chip shots? The answer is you can't do it really in a predictable way, and if you could, you'd never know when it was coming anyway. So play for no spin, passive hands, like a putt, good rhythm, and again with a straight face club you'll get less backspin. So the bounce and the roll through will be entirely more predictable with these less lofted clubs. So pick your landing point. Use the least lofted club that you can in that particular situation, and then play for roll and not for height and spin. So let's go on to a different green and find some different situations which might be a little more complicated, where the decision making has to be really sharp. So this is a tricky one. I've got 2 banks, one in front of me with slightly long grass, so I can't putt that, and then a shelf, and then another little ridge just before the flag. To land it beyond the second ridge means playing a super high shot. If you don't quite get the distance right, it'll roll back. So the shot is with a pitching wedge to land it just over the first ridge, short of the second ridge, and have it running as it hits the ridge. And a pinch shot with a pitching wedge will give that 50-50 flight. Ball shot. If you ever need to run the ball up a slope, make sure it's running by the time it hits the slope. Yeah, pretty good. That way you'll be able to predict how far the ball will roll, but this is a super easy, that's the best one of the lot. In fact, I've holed it. How about that? Now in a situation like this, you can see the grass is too long for us to put the ball up it or chip and run it up it. We've got to use the sand wedge or the lob wedge. I'd go for a square face with a lob wedge here. You get a surprising amount of height like that. You don't feel like you've always got to open the club face. It makes judging the distance that much more difficult. There we go. We should be able to get plenty of height even without opening the face. There we go. Up it pops nicely. So don't automatically open the face. Even with a bank to go over, you've still got loads of loft. 60 degrees is an enormous amount of loft, and you can very easily play the shot the right distance with a square face. Same shot here from a bit further away, bit of a tighter lie, again, no face opening, and still plenty of height and 3 feet from the hole. So I hope the lesson is obvious. Don't use too much loft. It's around the greens, just not necessary. If you take nothing away but that from this video, then it will have been worthwhile. Now this shot might look like a 50-50, but actually there's a severe upslope all the way to the flag, and I'm going to make sure it gets there by taking the 8-iron runner, and that way physics will be your friend. I've got that all the way back there, 2 feet, slightly misdirected, but got the distance right, and that is the important thing. That was not a good shot. Half topped it, but you saw the result. Still came out nicely. That's a good one. There we go. Same as the first one, pretty much. So it's a great way to deal with a slope. Play the running shot and don't fight physics. If you land a lofted shot into a slope, it will never run. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. It really does help me out. And I'll see you next time for another shot on the golfing curriculum.